Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Dave Camwell and Katerina Pavilkova. They are also known as Covert Ensemble, here to talk a little about the relationship between two musicians that spans across the Atlantic Ocean. I want to thank both of you for joining us here today.
Thank you for having us.
And I talk about Covert Ensemble. Tell us a little about this, Dave, because the two of you are here in the same room right now, but most of your performances online, you're on separate sides of an ocean. Talk about how this took place.
Exactly. It's a rare treat to actually be together in the same space to do what we do in terms of the music and concerts like that. Yeah, we are roughly, I think, 5,000 or 6,000 miles apart. Obviously, I'm here mostly in Troy, Alabama, and with Katerina in the Czech Republic. And so really, it's we have to credit the internet and technology. Without that, there's even, I think, probably even 10 years ago, what we do now probably wouldn't have been possible.
And this all sort of grew out of COVID, right? The desire to reach out to musicians, but basically it has turned into a series of YouTube videos in which you two perform with each other, but you're in two entirely different countries when you do it.
And hopefully people don't realize that. That's the trick of it, of course, is to make it seem like we are together. So yeah, this musical venture started roughly in about January 2021. Obviously, COVID had been a thing for several months. And we really started working together and produced our first video in January of 2021, and now we have about 20 videos, and it's an ongoing thing. And we've also been very fortunate to tour once before in November. Actually, I won a grant from Troy University, and so I spent a week over there teaching in various conservatories and doing a concert tour, sort of the Czech version of what we're doing here in America this week.
And of course, now with that, you play primarily saxophones. Two of you play saxophones. And Katerina, there's an interesting story about the fact that you took on saxophone at kind of a late age for most people, right? Because it was something in your country that wasn't normally played, right? Tell me about how you got involved playing saxophone for the first time.
Yes, saxophone, when I was a child, it wasn't a very popular instrument, and there was only jazz saxophone. There was absolutely no classical saxophone. And so I started playing very early the piano and later the flute. And when I was about 17 years old, I started to like jazz music. And I realized that the flute is not a very jazzy instrument. So I started to play the saxophone, and I studied the jazz saxophone. But because before I played on piano and flute almost classical music. I found I auditioned when I was 19 years old. I auditioned the Bohemia Saxophone Quartet, which is the leading saxophone ensemble in Czech Republic, and we are starting to doing classical saxophone on a professional level. So I turned to completely to classical saxophone.
And that helped bring this relationship together. Now, we're going to check out a little piece of this video, a video from one of your videos on YouTube here, and gonna see kind of some interesting interaction between the two of you in this video, right? So even though you are on two separate parts of the ocean, you had some fun with what we're about to see here. So let's take a look at this video real quick and see what some fun that y'all had with it. Now, that right there, you exchanged a pen virtually via the internet, but using some technology, obviously green screen technology. And I know, Dave, I know you have some experience with video, stuff like that, but Katerina, how much experience did you have with this kind of technology before you got started?
Yes, I had some kind of experience. I made my own videos, but it's always more fun to collaborate with someone else. During the year we were collaborating together, I I've learned a lot of new things.
And that's part of the collaboration, Dave, right? Is that you're learning more techniques and getting better at putting together these very professional looking videos out there on YouTube and sharing saxophone music.
Yeah, I mean, it's that I think is in many ways is the most interesting evolution of what we do. I mean, if you look at our first video, it was rather, I mean, it was fine, it was good, I'm still proud of it, but it was quite simple compared to the things we do now. So it was about 6 months into what we did, I started to feel sort of limited by, you know, there's only so many pretty pieces of art I could play in front of. There was only so many lakes that I could film at. You know, I started really wanting to have more control over the look of the video, and so green screen was something I was aware of, but had never used in any of my other things. So it was a way to kind of equalize us in terms of like we could both be in the same space, even though we're not. But the hope is, of course, that when you see that, you know, and other videos that we do now, most of the time we're almost exclusively in green screen and we look like we're together. And that's sort of the hope, because when people see our videos, we don't really want them thinking, you know, wow, they are doing this from 6,000 miles away. We just want them to enjoy it musically and visually as well. And then all the bells and whistles and the handoffs through the screen, breaking down the fourth wall, you know, that's part of the fun of it too. And we keep trying to think of new things that you know propel us higher and higher, and you know create more interest and success for the group.
Now, if anyone wants to check out the videos, what can they do? Where are they gonna find it?
Well, the best thing, just covertensemble.com, or just type that into YouTube or frankly your favorite browser. But it's not hard to find at all.
All right. Well, here's to hoping folks check out Covert Ensemble online. Good luck and continued videos and productions out there for people to check out. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk.